Welcome to another episode of Wrestling with the Paranormal. Today is just a mishmash of paddywhack give a dog a bone. Alright, let's get a rockin' and a rollin'. Baby. Hello, I am one of your hosts. I am Canada Dry. I am the patron saint of professional wrestling. I am that ginger up bubbly. I'm trying to get that Canada Dry thing. There we go. I am that gingered up bubbly son of a bitch. I'm Canada Dry, damn it.
I am also one of your hosts tonight. Thank you for stopping the music when I do my introduction. I just go with the flow. Anything goes.
He is the man in the gray hat with a baseball bat, and he's ready to give you something back.
I'm rearranging everything. I'm Craig the Gray, damn it. Black and white. Mixing it up. Here we go. It's anything goes episode.
You need to come up with the streamlined catchphrase. The next one.
Oh, you mean that it doesn't change?
Yeah, it doesn't change. Just a streamlined catchphrase. I'm Craig the Gray, the man in the gray hat. I carry a baseball bat. Something. Blah, 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 blah.
It's got a rhyme?
I don't know. It helps.
Okay.
As you can see, I got the Canada Dry crate behind me. I got the championship belt behind me. I got the Owen Hart effing wrestling shirt on to the Led Zeppelin theme. I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go. I'm looking. What is the title of this episode? Is there even a title? Is there even a title?
We're just calling it Wrestling with the Paranormal Monster Mash episode because it's just a mash of everything.
Okay, so I found stories that are about everything but monsters.
Yeah, monsters aren't real. So.
I just have MASH. I got MASH.
Oh, you got MASH.
I got the MASH
potatoes.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So I just thought that it was cool that we had a clip last week of a video game that we played when we were kids.
What, Ghosts and Goblins?
Yeah, Ghosts and Goblins. So I thought, let's show another clip of a wrestling game. Not a wrestling game, just a video game that we played when we were kids. Did you play Double Dragon at all?
I played Double Dragon with you get the bat and the chain and the different weapons and
did you play just on the console or did you actually play it in the arcade?
I had a Commodore 64, much like you. So we had the disc of Double Dragon, the Double Dragon floppy disc, and you put it in and you had to take
I didn't actually have a Commodore. I had my friends had a Commodore, and we had a Commodore in our classroom at school, but I did not own one myself. I had a Sega Master System, and the very first game I got was Double Dragon.
Wow.
But I saw this in a corner store one day before a couple years before in an arcade, and I pumped a bunch of quarters in it. So let's show the clip of this game, Double Dragon, and it's a fun game.
Wow, what a clip. Wow.
I didn't want to show too much because...
Yeah, you just wanted to show the lady getting punched and kidnapped. That's all you wanted to show. I see what this is. I thought this was retro video game fun time segment.
It's pretty brutal. Like beating a girl is like, you wouldn't do that.
Well, they're the bad guys, and then Double Dragon, they're gonna go beat them up. They're twin brothers. There was a movie.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
No, of course not. Video game movies never are.
But I was showing a longer clip But I was like, I don't really want to watch this because it was very monotonous watching the bunch. Like it's fun to do, but it was very monotonous to watch. I'm like, no, I can't be showing this up. So I just showed the beginning of the
I
game.
think you could hit barrels and they would blow up, right?
You can pick up barrels
Yeah, that's right.
and throw them, and it was a fun game. But
But you know what? My favorite game that was like that, where you just punched things, was the Ninja Turtles video game. That
yeah,
was
that
awesome.
was
I didn't have
was.
that until I had Nintendo. Like later when I had
Are you talking about the
Nintendo,
4-player game or the one for?
the one for Nintendo where like it was like Double Dragon, like it looked very
Okay,
much like
not
Double
the
Dragon.
arcade version though.
No, not the arcade.
The
The
four
arcade was
players.
different. The arcade was cool too, though. The arcade
Yeah.
was cool too. And you had to get pizza. Pizza was like your life.
Yeah. So we got a bunch of little stories. Um, we're calling the first one UFOs in the USSR. It's a little story.
That's clever.
Yeah, UFOs in
Like
the
these
USSR.
double U's. That's good.
Yeah, so I'm just going to tell that story. Where we got the pictures. Okay. So in 1985, two train drivers named Orloff and Mironov
Hmm.
were transporting 7 empty train freight. What are they called? Freight containers, I guess.
Freight containers. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were going to the northwest town of Katamashka. I don't know what it. I can't see it through this. Katamasha. I don't know. Anyways, it's in the northwest of Russia. Um, so out of the nowhere, as they were going, there was a big ball of light that was on the side of the train track, and uh, Orlov and Mironov were like, "What the?" They were just shocked to see it. And eventually, the ball of light has now moved onto the train track in front of them, and it is coming towards them.
Oh.
And it's coming
You
towards them.
can't.
So
You can't get out of the way if you're driving a train. That's the thing about
no,
driving
it's
a
like
train.
you're on a
You
one
can't-
way. Yeah,
you can't get out of the way. That's the thing. I mean, what are you gonna do? Can't turn the train. Sorry, I
so
distracted
Orlov,
you.
he decides that he's going to put the brake on and turn off the
Mhm.
engine and see if he can stop this. But the ball of light stops right when it gets to the front of the train. And the train hasn't completely stopped, but it doesn't hit. And now it seems like it's pulling the train because the engines are now off
Whoa.
and it's pulling the train. And really weird. So they go through their first station and the ball of light kind of leaves them. And they're thinking, okay, it's over. The train's going to come to a stop and we're going to kind of check everything out. But the train does not stop, it keeps on going. Mind you, there's no engine.
Mhm.
And so they go past that station and the ball of light returns in front of them. And this goes on for another 30 miles. They reach their destination of damn Russian towns. Zastava, I don't know, Zastava. They reach the town of Zastava, and they find
It's probably pronounced Zostava.
Zastava. They reach the town of
Zastava.
Zastava. They find that they have saved how much coal? They've saved a bunch of fuel. Um, they've saved a bunch of fuel, and I had a number, but I can't find it. Anyway, so they had a bunch of fuel they saved because the light was pulling them, and they saved. I think it was 300 kgs of fuel. I don't know if that matters, but yeah, and I guess there was a bit of damage to the front of the train. I guess from I don't know the light pulling it or whatever, but yeah, that's one of the strange things that happened. Now, should we
So
just
they probably sold the extra fuel that they saved and then bought vodka.
well, this is communist Russia at the time,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, maybe you don't want to steal train fuel.
no, you're going to be in big trouble. So you want to tell the next story? We'll go.
Okay, I got.
No, other way, other way. Come on, we can do this. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I
you
felt
did
it.
it. I
Yeah.
felt.
Um,
Referee saw it.
there's actually a little gap in between our boxes. Do you see that? Like, if you look, see that? There's a little gap right there.
Was that there before?
It's the logos behind it. It's because our screens are like
Was it
two
there
separate
before?
boxes.
Like, is this last show?
I
Was
guess it's
there a
always
gap?
maybe it's always been there. And I just never noticed. I don't know. Okay, I'm not actually watching the show when I'm doing it. I'm actually like, I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got a story. Also takes place in Russia.
Because it's
Siberia.
UFOs in USSR.
Yes, UFOs and UFOs. UFOs?
UFOs in USSR.
UFOs. UFOs in
Smooth like butter. That's our
USSR.
catchphrase.
Yeah, exactly. Although this takes place in 1993, so I want you to imagine Siberia. It's very cold, covered in snow. It's 1993. It's winter, so it's extra cold. Now, what the story I'm going to tell you is actually part of a 250-page CIA document that was later declassified. Okay.
Okay, so I think we mentioned this on the show before, but
Mhm.
we didn't have any verified things on it. So, but this is the verified story.
Yeah.
The proper story.
So there's infantry. There's an army garrison. Okay, in this area of Siberia, and they're doing a training exercise. Okay, 25 soldiers, infantrymen, doing this training exercise. They've got weapons out. They're testing weapons. They're marching through the snow. They see in the forest a floating spacecraft. Or, well, they don't know if it's a spacecraft, but it's some kind of craft and it's floating. Okay, unidentified, I guess. Now, they immediately think this must be some kind of threat. Okay, maybe it's an American craft. They don't actually know where it came from, but they've luckily got an air-to-missile launcher with them, like a little handheld bazooka thing. The air-to-missile uh, um, launch. They shoot it at this vessel. It hits this vessel, which wobbles out of the sky and crashes into the forest, into a clearing. So they all rush this crash site, right? Because they want to see what this thing was. When they get there, there's this downed craft, and 5 figures come out of the craft. They're described as, you got a picture there, short, large black eyes, gray skin, very kind of knobby looking. Now, the army surrounds this little troop of 5 beings that fall out of this crash, and they're like shouting at them to surrender. But immediately, before the army can even do anything, 2 of these beings, you can see that they have guns in their hands. They have some kind of weapon. These beings start firing these weapons, and they fire very fast. And they turn, when they hits one of the army men, it turns them into stone. And listeners of our podcast might remember we did talk about this story before. People were turning into stone. It turns people into like a hard, like almost like a limestone, like immediately, like instantly. So they hit 23 of the 25 soldiers before they can even do anything. The 2 remaining soldiers were 2 that just ran right away, and they took off. Ran back to the base to get reinforcements. They told the story what happened. They get reinforcements with a helicopter and artillery support, and they rush back to the site. But by the time they get there, because they had to like rally all this, reinforcements, all these extra troops and helicopter.
We misspammed the man. He was here. I guess he left.
He's there. Turtles in time, baby.
Yeah.
Turtles in time. By the time they get there, as you can imagine, the spacecraft is gone. The 5 beings are gone. But the 23 soldiers, now turned into limestone statues, remain in the snow. So they gather them up, and they keep this all top secret. And they actually transport the stone soldiers to Moscow and to a lab, which they're probably still there somewhere in Moscow. Now, we don't know who leaked this information to the CIA, but one of the soldiers must have leaked this. One of the soldiers might have been an American spy. Not one of the soldiers necessarily that survived, but one of the soldiers in the reinforcements in the base might have been an American spy. That's how the story gets to the CIA. The CIA later declassified this story, probably thinking that it's so crazy that nobody would believe it.
Yeah, that is one of the more bizarre stories. Just looking at this, like, geez, this comes like right out of the X-Files, right?
Yeah.
I forgot to show the train picture.
Oh,
It almost looks like the moon, but you can see it's right in front of them.
these are pictures that Canada Dry draws in his spare time.
No, I want to give credit where credit's due. We get them from Bedtime Stories. They do a great job over there. We want to go follow them. Like, they are awesome. Bedtime Stories does a great job, and full credit to you guys. You do a great job over there at Bedtime Stories.
Yeah, second best paranormal podcast on YouTube.
All right, we ready for the test? We go right. Yeah, so wait.
Let's go this way. Okay. Oh wait, I'm going the wrong way.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing it backwards.
Slow motion. We'll do the slow motion tag.
Okay, ready? Oh.
Yeah, that was a perfect tag because we took our time. Now, you couldn't do that in wrestling, making a perfect tag. You're going to get your ass kicked. What the hell? Taking their time, tagging? What the hell?
Have they ever done a slow motion match?
The wrestlers have to move. They probably have.
Probably.
They do all sorts of silly things in wrestling. So,
I love it. All right, Canada Dry, you got my story?
Yeah, I got one more story. And this also comes... another UFO out of USSR. So this comes 4 years later after the train story in, I want to say Varanus. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, now I'm going to have to try the same name of this park too. It's Varanus, 6:30 p.m. at night in 1989, I'm going to say. Anyway, so September 1999, that's right. And there's this park in the middle of Varanus, and it's called I can't even say the park. I can't even do it. It starts with an L. Anyway,
look like watching.
Yeah, I can't even. So this is park, and there's all these people that are playing in the park. There's a bunch of teenagers playing soccer. There's some people waiting for the bus, and there's other people in the park. And out of nowhere comes this shiny metallic object that glows red. And they say it was 45 feet in diameter and 18 feet high. So it began to land and it retracted its four metal legs from its base, and before it touched the ground, 100 people around saw what went down, and I'm going to show a video from Bedtime Stories of what went down when that ship landed.
All three wearing disc-like plates affixed to the front of their suits. A much smaller box-shaped construction then materialized from inside the craft behind the trio. It proceeded to move along the ground behind them, travelling as it did so with an awkward and almost robotic gait. This mechanical creation would occasionally stop and reach down to the ground, apparently taking soil and grass samples at the direction of the three taller figures walking before it. A sense of panic suddenly rippled through the ranks of the assembled witnesses, with several of the younger members crying out in terror. It is from this point onwards that accounts of what took place begin to vary somewhat. Several of the witnesses later claimed that the craft and its occupant suddenly disappeared from sight, only to then rematerialize a few minutes later at the exact same point they had vanished from. Others would describe how one of the entities produced a thick metallic tube, roughly a foot in length, which it then aimed directly at one of the crying teenagers. The youth in question seemed to dematerialize under the power of whatever invisible beam was being produced by this device, before reappearing several minutes later as the creatures and their craft then made their departure.
So yeah, that looks like that's downright creepy, right?
Turtles in Time.
Well, we also had radiation that was left over in that area. The government said it was mass hysteria, and we also had strange mineral deposits in that park and radiation. But the government just said it was mass hysteria.
100 people.
Yeah, I don't think is there such a thing as mass hysteria other than the Orwell story, right?
Well, it's just what strikes me about that story is that most UFO encounters that we talk about in North America, it's usually like two people see the UFO. Maybe those ranch stories, maybe a family sees the UFOs.
Yeah.
But 100 people, that's very unusual for
Yeah,
UFOs.
that's a lot of people.
I think we talked about this before, where we kind of had theories that maybe UFOs purposely don't show themselves to large groups of people, right? Of course, this might have been something else. It seemed to blink in and out of existence, or disappearing at least. So that's a different story for sure. Weird. But I guess the government.
We have a new thing on the show that we did on Wrestling with the. Oh, sorry, this is Wrestling with the Power. I did on Just Another Podcast this morning. We did the joke of the day, but the person is dressed up like a monster, so I think it fits. We're going to show the joke of the day from earlier today.
What do you call a big, prejudiced clown? A bigot. My chin looks like a ball sack.
I don't actually get the joke.
A big it.
Oh, it! Like
yes,
the movie It.
You had to say a big it. So you needed to space that out a bit.
What an amazing joke.
Yeah, it's just the way you word it.
Do you have a joke?
I don't have a joke, and I purposely don't have a joke because
you're only allowed one joke.
I have no joke right now. I'm empty.
If we do the joke of the day, neither of us can tell any more jokes of the show, because then it would make the joke of the day not as important.
Well, if you got a joke, go ahead, but I got nothing.
Are you sure? Because that's 2 jokes in one show. I don't know if people can handle
it. If you got one, use it.
Okay. What is the quickest way to starve yourself?
Tapeworm.
Fast.
That is not a joke.
It's so funny what you're talking about. The quickest way to starve yourself. Fast.
Oh.
It's hilarious. It's super funny. It's a good joke. Spam the man. You got a joke? Where is he? Where's the joke? Turtles in Time.
Spam the man. Is that him here?
Is he there? Give us a joke. Audience participation.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Spam the Man or if it's someone else. Someone's watching.
Maybe Spam the Man's a bot. Spam.
I know Spam the Man. He lives in my neighborhood. I see him from time to time.
You have Spam the Man sightings?
I have had Spam the Man sightings. He's a real dude.
Okay.
Whose turn gave me Sega Genesis when I was hurt.
Maybe we should pivot to a video game podcast. Wrestling with the video games.
I think we're good with the paranormal. Okay. We got it going on.
Yeah, we got it. Whose turn is it?
Who just was it? Did I just tell a story about the? Yeah,
I think you
it's
told the
yours.
story about the weird.
Then we did the joke of the day.
The picture looked like they were like frog people almost.
Yeah, it was kind of like that,
You remember that game Battletoads?
which was a lot like turtles.
It's true. I think there was even a Battletoads Ninja Turtles crossover game.
Yeah,
I think there was. Yeah. Anyway, okay, I got a story. Where were we at here? Okay. So this is something spooky. It's totally. You said anything goes this episode, so I thought, well, this is something I want to talk about on the show, but I didn't find a topic that this fit in because it's just really strange and weird, and it doesn't really have anything to do with any other paranormal topics. Okay. So there's this book called the Codex Gigas, and it's huge. Okay, it's like 3 meters high, so it's like half the size of a human being. If you can imagine that, that's a book.
Wow.
Doesn't really fit on any shelves. It's massive. So this book is old too. This was written in 1222, 1222. Okay. Now the book is said to be haunted. There's been multiple fires where this book has survived. In one of the fires in 1697. So the book, let me just tell you a little short history. The book was written in the Czech Republic, but back in the medieval times before it was called the Czech Republic, by a monk. Now, legend has it that this monk was supposed to write this giant book, and the book has like a whole bunch of books inside of it. It has some ancient like Roman literature. It has the Bible. It has other books of other saints in the book. But he didn't have enough time to finish it when he was supposed to finish it. So this is a legend. He makes a deal with the devil for the devil to help him finish writing the book. And at the end of the book, there's actually a giant picture of a demon or the devil, right? Which is really strange because why would a book that contains the Bible and other books of saints have a giant picture of the devil? But the legend is that the devil helped him finish it, but then the payment was that he had to make this massive picture of the devil, and it's the biggest picture in the book. It takes up the entire book, so it's like a 3 meter high picture.
It's like surprise ending, the devil.
Right? Like that's super weird. Now, that monk was actually he was tried for crimes later in his life, and he was Have you ever heard of this before? It's a form of execution where they build you into a wall. They wall you up.
I've heard of that.
Which is a horrible way to die. They build a wall, like they put you up against a wall and then they build a wall in front of you.
So you just die of starvation in there.
And you're trapped in this wall. Which is really creepy because then your skeleton is like in that wall in this monastery forever. Yeah. Anyway, so at one point, Stockholm, what country is Stockholm? Sweden, yeah. So the Swedish military takes over this castle or this monastery where this book was, and they steal it and they bring it back to a castle in Stockholm. This castle famously burns to the ground in 1697, and somebody in the castle wanted to save this book, so they tossed it out of a window. And as they tossed it out, it landed and killed somebody. So not only did it survive another fire, because it had survived, I think, 2 previous fires in the 400 years since then, it had somehow mysteriously survived these fires. It survives this other fire, but it also kills somebody. So kind of crazy. The book is now in a museum, and I think it's back in Prague, actually. So it's a museum somewhere in Prague. And like we've seen on the show before, it seems like if an item is cursed, the best place to put it is in a museum, and it does the least amount of damage.
Especially if you put it behind glass, I think.
Put it behind glass. It's not going to kill anybody anymore. Yeah. So I just thought that was interesting. Codex Gigas, very strange, haunted. I guess I could have talked about this in the cursed item show, but we had other stuff to talk about.
Yeah, that's fine. So I have a video to show, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to say, is this real or is this fake?
Well, it's a podcast.
What? The video.
Everything's real. And we're also on the internet. Everything on the internet is real.
we'll discuss if
Okay.
it's just fake
Okay.
or real.
Make out what looks to be some kind of alien figure walking slowly forward. The entity is tall, slender, and has light brown, greyish skin. As other motorcyclists have a look, it stops in its tracks and turns around to face them. After a few moments, it turns back around and continues to stroll forwards. There's no denying that the entity resembles something straight out of an alien movie. However, I don't think this cameraman is going to win any awards in cinematography, as he fails to get a solid look at the figure. Frustratingly, the camera pans left just as they get close enough to get a better look. Some think this shoddy camera work is used to hide the fact that it's all just a hoax.
So what do you think? Like, is the shoddy camera work enough to think it's a hoax? Because you could easily put a really skinny guy in a bodysuit.
Mm-hmm. It might be. Remember that video I showed of what looked like a little kid running in a driveway? Maybe that little kid growing up.
We got part two. I think it's fake.
It looks pretty fake. It looks pretty.
You think
fake.
it's fake?
I think if you had a camera, you would definitely, like, you wouldn't pan away unless he was like,
unless he's
do something.
Scared, right? He's scared, and
I don't know. I think you would keep this camera
pointing and keep his distance, right? So
yeah, seems fake to me. It looks very human shaped too, though. Like, yeah, it looks really skinny, and it's like probably a bodysuit, but it's not like short or like it's not the wrong proportions to be human. It looks very much like human proportions.
Yeah, I think so. And it sounds like it's in India or Pakistan or something from the language. And they have a lot of skinny, tall males, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird even if it's fake, though, because you're walking around in a bodysuit in the middle of the night. It's kind of weird. Anyway.
Yes, but are they a part of that?
If it's fake, it's probably like they're all just the team.
Yeah, they're all part of it, right?
Yeah. That's what we should do. We should just make fake paranormal videos. And then we could discuss
a little stamp we can put on the screen, fake or real.
Fake. Mostly fake. Let's just make a stamp that says mostly fake and we just stamp it on the screen. How would you even do that?
Thing that we put on the overlay.
I could write like a little thing right there. Put it up. Fake. But yeah, I think that one's fake.
Do we want to show the other video, or do you have your random Reddit?
Is the other video real?
Well, we have to decide that after we view it.
Okay. It better be real. You better do one real, one fake.
I don't know if this is real or not. So this happens. This video is oh shit, where is it? It's here in BC. Mission.
Okay. Local.
As you can see on top of the hill, there's a strange bipedal creature that appears to be covered from head to toe in hair. The creature stands up and begins to walk to the right of screen. It becomes partially obscured as it moves behind a ridge. Given the apparent remoteness of the location, it seems unlikely that this would be some sort of prank. The distance at which the creature is spotted also makes sense as to why the couple didn't attempt to move in for a closer look.
Well, how far he is from the camera, it could just be a guy wearing black clothes.
Yeah.
It
also didn't look like it was moving. Not like it looked like it was making pretty human movements.
Yeah, it looked like, he was like, oh, I'm going to settle down here. Let's see what's over here. Um, I think it's a guy who's just camping.
Yeah,
And they
I
see
think
him
it's-
across, and he's wearing
I
all
mean,
black.
or he's wearing a Sasquatch suit.
I don't think he's wearing a Sasquatch suit. It just looks like that from where he's
They
wearing
should
all black.
sell Sasquatch suits to go camping, and you just wear camping, and you just wear Sasquatch.
You're gonna get
suits.
shot.
You think you get shot? I guess
Oh, yeah.
so. I mean, would you
If
shoot
you
a
sell them,
Sasquatch?
sell bulletproofs just in case.
But why would you? Would you shoot a Sasquatch?
I wouldn't, but like someone's afraid, they're gonna shoot him.
Oh, if you're afraid, I guess so.
Yeah, if you're
What if
afraid,
it's the last Sasquatch?
well, you do a lot of things in fear, right? So
Could be an endangered species.
yeah.
All right.
Are we ready
I guess-
for the Reddit random story?
Random Reddit story.
Random Reddit story, you mighty random Reddit story. I did Power Rangers.
I like it. Original Power Rangers.
Yeah, you mighty random Reddit story.
Remember when Tommy was the
I hated
Wait.
Power Rangers.
because he was evil at first. He was evil, and then he turned good. He was the White Ranger, and then he turned and then he turned into the Green Ranger, and then he was good. Or was he the Green Ranger when he was bad? And then
I
he turned
don't
into-
know. I hate
But
Power
anyway.
Rangers. I'm sorry I even mentioned it.
Okay, now he's sorry you mentioned it.
I am.
All right, let me bring up my random Reddit story screen here. Okay, so this was interesting. Somebody on Reddit asked the question: serious stories only. Police, security guards, paramedics. Have you ever encountered something paranormal? Message in, and this was only 4 months ago. Spade13 responded. I'm a graveyard shift security at a hotel casino. We get called to the top floor of the hotel because people from that floor, from the floor below, were calling in noise complaints. I was the night security guard, so I had a trainer with me, and we both went up. Now, dispatch told us over the radio that nobody was registered on that floor. See, it's a penthouse floor, so it's probably expensive. So cool. We were just thinking some idiots probably got up there. We get up there, and every single door on the entire floor was wide open. And anybody who has been to these kind of hotels knows that you can't leave the doors open because they close by themselves. They close automatically. And they weren't propped up or anything. They were just open. We asked dispatch if any engineers were doing any work up here or if they had anything going on that day. After a few moments, they told us they had called the engineering and they said no. So we just noped out of there, and at that point and said nobody was up there. We took off. So pretty creepy. Now, somebody on Reddit said, science side of Reddit, can you explain this? And somebody else wrote back, okay, HVAC systems can create a positive pressure in the hotel hallways, and when the ghost turns the knob all the way to the pressure side, it forces the doors open. I thought that was cool.
That's the science explanation.
That's the
ghost
science
is working
explanation.
with,
If the ghost turns the air pressure all the way up, right? And that can happen.
So there was a ghost. He was just messing with the knob.
Yeah. So that's the scientific explanation. Still scary. Still scary.
Hey, you don't want the ghost messing with the knobs, or it's going to get hot in there when you don't want it to be. It would be cool when you want it to be hot.
Ghost in Noblins.
Part two, Ghost and Goblins.
So that was our Anything Goes episode. You got anything else?
No, we're at 39 minutes.
39 minutes.
That's not bad. We're
Yeah,
pretty
we
much-
also did this show an hour early because of daylight saving time.
That's true. We wanted to do this on Friday, but just things got away from me that day, and so we're going to try and do it on Friday again this week. Because what we're doing here, actually, on the F and Wrestling YouTube channel, is we want to build up shows. So we got a show on Friday, which is this show. We got a show on Saturday, which is the Magician, Liam the Magician, the Magic of Wrestling.
Oh, is that new?
And he just talks to different fans about their opinions and stuff like that.
That's
And
new.
that's a new show that we signed up here on the channel,
Nice.
and then we got our Just Another F podcast on Sunday. So we got eventually we want to have a show every day of the week,
Wow.
or different things, and that'd be cool, right?
Yeah. So there's room for retro gaming.
Oh yeah,
retro
like if we want to
times.
do it. If you want to get another guy who knows about retro gaming, because I don't want to spread myself too thin. If you got another guy that you want to do a podcast with about retro gaming,
I'd have to
bring
get
him in and we'll get him on the show. And
I'd want to play the. I'd want to replay the games. I'd have to get an emulator, which isn't hard. I know there's like free emulators online. Get the old games and play them, and then see how they hold up. I feel like it would be torture to play those old games. Don't you think? Like, would you play Double Dragon now?
I played Double Dragon Neon on the PlayStation 3.
But it was probably jazzed up for the new times, right?
Super
Probably better
fun.
graphics and everything.
I enjoyed it, like the newer version of the game. It was fun.
But that clip you showed looks so rough. Like the graphics are just like,
And that's the arcade one, not the NES or Master System one.
wow.
So I think that was close to 16-bit, right?
No, NES was 8.
No, this is the arcade version.
Well, I don't know what arcades were, but NES was 8-bit, and then Super Nintendo.
But I'm saying arcade is a little bit higher than 8-bit, right?
And then PlayStation was 32-bit, and then Nintendo 64 was 64 bits, and
I think they were pretty similar in bits.
But then they stopped counting bits. I think because it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Nobody counts bits.
How many bits?
Younger people watching our show are like, bits. What the hell's a bit?
How many bits do you got on that PlayStation 5? 2 billion? 2 billion bits?
Probably 2 billion bits, yeah.
Who knows? But I think that's our show. I'm just going to get the rock music going because that's how we end our show.
All right, where can I buy a t-shirt?
You can visit Pro Wrestling Tees /F and Wrestling. You can get this beautiful Owen Hart Led Zeppelin tribute shirt. And you can get that beautiful Wrestling with the Paranormal shirt, also available in purple. We've got tons of shirts. We try to come up with a shirt every week. So what would you say the moral of the episode was?
Don't just pay attention. That's what it is.
So what I'm thinking the moral of the episode is if you see a downed spacecraft and you have a gun on you,
shoot first.
Run.
Don't even shoot first.
Just run. Get the hell out of it. Don't. Just run. Get out of it. And once again, I want you guys to know that we not only tell you wonderful, scary stories about the paranormal, we give you more advice on how to live your life.
Yeah. And knowledge is power.
Because knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. All right, everybody.
Knowledge. Putting my finger right there.
Knowledge. Keep on wrestling paranormal. Woo! Woo! What should we do with our cats and dogs? Oh yeah, spade and neuter. Spade and neuter.
Help control the pet population. Have your cat spade or neuter. And you know what else? When you get this spade or neuter, they're not going to go run out of the house and get hit by a car. They'll calm down. Their hormones aren't controlling themselves. Have a great effing day.
Mhm.